Well, I suppose it's time for a State of the Union. What are we at here? Day 855. I got some of this redstonium. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that word. The tooltip there. Redstone seeds, right? First, we got the Agricraft thing from EnderIO Addons. Ultimately, as soon as I get a couple seeds, I can throw this breeding module in and multiply them. Of course, you need the redstone ore down below to make it work. Fortunately, you can get that stuff from the nether pretty easily. So I'm going to do like, your lapis and your gold and anything that's a bit awkward to get. So I got room for 5 more here and then 6 more here. Taking a quick look at the seeds here. I haven't really done the math. I got a bit of a plan I'm working on here for storage drawers and an idea to turn these systems off when they're not needed, because that's my jam. You ever make something where you got this real cool idea in your head and then you hate it? You hate everything about it? Me too. So I did quite a bit of reading on the Reddit, trying to figure out how people automate zombie heads in Project Ozone 2, and it turns out you don't. It's like the one real critical thing you need for lots of stuff that you cannot automate. I tried this autonomous activator with, your cleaver, 40%. Doesn't work. So eventually, I'd like to make a power spawner and make a way to spawn zombies, specifically zombies, really quickly, and then I'll just kind of kill them like I'm doing here. That's what's going to happen when I tear this thing down. But basically, up in this larger box here is cursed earth, and then there is a tool from, not a tool, a block from Mine Factory Reloaded, which is kind of this version's idea of industrial foregoing. But you put one of those little Pokeball, Safari Net, mob imprisonment tools, this guy right here, you capture a zombie, you stick it in there, and then he's whitelisted. So anything that spawns in that cursed earth gets thrown here, drops on the conveyor, and of course he ends out. Now, I got a slaughter factory just so I can start getting pink slime and the dirty meat here, or the liquid meat. Sometimes they just get slaughtered before they get transferred. It's a little slow. But the wooden spike only takes them down to 1 heart. Unfortunately, I do not get a head every time. But I guess, what, 40% according to the tooltip? And in the off chance that it gets out of control, I have a counter here set up. So if you take your precision hammer, it's a 5x5 area you can't adjust, so that tiny corner there is watching the one spot the zombies are. So you can see 1 zombie's there right now. It's got a power of 1. And I'm just using RedNet to... Aha! So it's when I click. Fool me once, fool me twice. You're not gonna fool me a 3rd time. Apparently with the Tinker's tool, when I click on the RedNet thing, it crashes. So let's just try with the hand. Nice. So what do we got here? We got an input signal of red coming in on the left, and if it is greater or equal to 5, then it outputs on the left orange. So basically, however many zombies are there, there's 1. If this number is greater than 5, then it outputs a signal to this transmitter, which there's lights up there and it turns off the spawner. So basically, I'll never get more than 5 zombies here. It's probably not necessary because I don't think they're going to spawn, but I just like doing little fail-safes like this for fun. And I really got to remember to stop clicking on stuff with the Tinker's tool, because that little tube there from thermal took me a while to figure out, but it crashes the game too. So yeah, I got to be sure when I click on this viaduct, I guess is what it's called. I only got 1 setup. I wish it didn't have this charging feature, but I'll tolerate it for the cinematic. Just an easy way for me to get from here to here, because unfortunately, those little travel anchors, unless I increase the range in the config, I can't use them to go from there. Sorry, I can use it to get from here to here, but not from here to there, if that makes sense. They don't have a very far distance. What I've decided here is the assembly table is going to make gold chipsets. So I haven't automated it yet in the sense that it's going to feed this thing, gold and redstone. I usually just jam pack it. like so. And then after, of course, it gets made, it gets spit out, goes into the hopper, into the drawer, gets sucked out to the chest, which puts it into my system. And what I'm starting to do here too is each of the frame types. So, of course, I'm at which tier right now? I'm at this tier, which, you know, requires this tier, which is this tier, and then this guy. These guys are actually surprisingly expensive, just in terms of the energy cost, but that's getting made over here just because of how slow it is. I just jam it full of redstone and it makes a few of them. Yeah, we're at almost 400, so it's pretty decent amount. Just kind of, you know, passive. I would like to automate this too. Actually, no, I wouldn't. I don't want to automate it. I want to have it passively made. I'm using the zombie generator now. It's pretty sweet. It uses like very little nutrient stuff. We got this tank here, you know, feeding a drum. Same setup over here. And the cows, I have a fluid cow, so it's a little cheaty in that sense. But the fluid cow that spawned is making me this stuff. And one cow is easily able to keep up with the demand. I probably should use these things more, but then I need more cows. And interestingly enough, that is not a problem. So these are my experienced cows. This is a test I've always wanted to do ever since, you know, years ago these cows came out, but I never played the pack long enough to, you know, get a second of the same type. Because you can't just breed any cow with any other cow, right? You need the same type, but they do multiply. So that means this nutrient cow needs a friend, and it just so happens that one of these is a nutrient cow. And so I can easily get more nutrient stuff just by making more cows. And you see how they have this cooldown thing here? Like the cooldown's at 0, so he's ready to harvest as soon as this thing needs to harvest, and it's not going to run a course until the barrel drops a little bit. But let's just put a cow here for safekeeping. So that's biofuel and nutrient. Ah yes, the system springs to life. Blue is max charge. This is a great example of a system that probably needs zombie nutrient distillation to power it, but there's also a significant chance I'm going to tear all this down. I really don't like how I have it automated. There's so much wrong with what I've done. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I needed this imbuing station for some kind of weird recipe. If you crook, you know, from EnderIO, you crook water that's got dirt below it, it gives you lily pads. It basically uses the full durability of the crook, but get a lily pad out of it, which is insane. Yeah, this guy right here. I needed this imbuing station, and I'm like, oh man, how am I going to get vines and lily pads? Well, you can ex nihilo this guy, and the vines, I completely forgot, are also extremely easy to get. Because it's been months at this point, but that's a jungle seed right there. And you never know that by searching your inventory, right? Because they call it an exotic seed. I've got no evidence to back this up, but I suspect I am one of the slowest players to progress in Agricraft for a mod pack like this and since forever, because I think I only got into it at like day 800. I still don't feel rushed to get into it, but I do have all the infrastructure behind me to help me, you know, with these stations here, with all these upgrades. It's definitely worth building the infrastructure. Just took me forever to get there. Lapis, the lapender seeds. So this is interesting because, of course, you need the ore below it, right? And it's like, okay, well, where do you get the ore? Well, it turns out the nether has lots of this stuff. You just have to go and find it, and then when you think you cook it, it doubles. Now, of course, you could get into mechanism with the combiner, but wow. So I kind of have this set up, and I've just unlocked that, I'm realizing. So we're close. A lot of the stuff, I don't know what I'm looking at, but we're close. I have made a few of these, because they're just, now that I've got so many of these things, very, very close. When you talk about integration between mods, stuff like this always blows me away. Especially way back in the day, open blocks and PneumaticCraft. So 2 stacks converts to this. That's pretty sweet. PneumaticCraft. I really want to like it, but it's not, it doesn't just grab me. So, of course, we got a cow we're abusing for whatever this stuff is called. LPG. One of the reasons people criticize this pack of being too easy, the fluid cows, of course, make it way too easy. But at the same point, you know, I'm kind of glad I have it. I don't want to get into processing fuel. But I'm just slapping coal in, it's running. Somewhere we have safety device. Where is it? I think these compressors here. Yeah, if you throw in a security upgrade, stuff won't explode. And if you let fuel run and you let this thing get up and there is no, you know, safety valve anywhere, you can physically install a safety valve somewhere, a pressure relief valve, or you can throw in these little security upgrades. And if you don't do that, this explodes, or rather this explodes, I think. And it does a lot of damage, actually. I tested it in creative just to see. So this would definitely wreck my furnace array, possibly, that you can't see just below. Let's try that again without the magnet. I mean, if you got the time, it's pretty cool. But also at a certain point, you're like, give me the output. So y'all are just going to sit there, I guess, until the pressure gets high enough? What are we at here? How does this work? Okay, so we got 2 pressure thingies. We're below 1 bar. I say that like it means something to me. We got to get to 2 bar. Is that what's going on? Trust. Trust in the process. So it's everybody's favorite game. Will it get to 2 bars pressure before or after the items despawn from 5 minutes? Who's to say? Also, who's to say PneumaticCraft didn't program in like a protection? The system clearly needs work. They just despawned at 1.8 bar, so I think we're 0.2 bar too short. I got plans to make a big tower of different colors. And then down here will be an elevator that takes you directly to that floor. We've got orange and green right now. Nothing interesting on orange, just a bit of an XP room. In case I die and have to make my armor again. But that's why I got fluid cows. Here's the storage room. We have the other part of the little network. We got our crafting table here. So of course everything's linked, right? Stuff gets passed through the ender chest, which is really cool. I am never going to get tired talking about this setup. It's the coolest thing. But yeah, so the drawers are going to have their priority. The main drawer there. Aha, it's this one that's interesting. Look at that. We got some conduits, some binder, some more conduits. Stuff's ready. Sitting here ready to go. And of course, the reason is the active supplier. So what I've kind of learned is the max number you can jam in here is 127, oddly enough. Almost twice a stack. And as long as it's set to partial, it'll make as many as it can. Whereas full, it would only make them if, you know, it could do a full order. So partial, I guess, is the setting that I want now. And it turns out if I wanted to have, like, you know, 1,000 of these things, all I would have to do is make more of these, stick them here, and just fill them up. So it's a little bit restrictive, but it's also not bad. And then at some point you wonder, man, are you ever going to get into Applied Energistics 2? At the rate that I'm going, I do not know, and it's looking like a definite no. We'll see. I kind of really want to just keep going with logistics pipes and just keep pushing it until it breaks. I'm finding weaknesses already, but I want to keep trucking along. I want to do a little bit of a logic thing. Really don't know how to handle the items though. I also don't know how laggy these are, but I've requested 2 stacks of the conduits. And so, of course, the system's going to fire to life and hopefully make me some more of those. 1, 2. So you're going to be set on just extract all the time. I guess I went to all the effort of running the conduit, all 6 of these plots, instead of just having solar panels at each one. Okay, so with this simple drawer array here, I got the controller, right? All these drawers. So I lock this guy, and then they're connected through this trim down below to here. So the idea is any of these 6 plots over here are going to push items into here, and any of these 6 things on this side are going to push items into here. And then eventually what I'm going to do is hook up another one of these ender chest connectors for, you know, that remote linking to my main system. So my system's going to be able to see all the drops. I kind of realized if I did something like this, I could then do this, right? Then you got your little programmer here. And so you may have been asking, why'd you make 6 plots and 6 plots? Well, it's because this thing has 6 pages. Oh no, am I about to realize something? Reloaded. This thing has 6 pages, but it does have cards. But when I first thought up this design, I couldn't afford those cards. Here it is. Expansion card. Circuits 1, variables 8, circuits 3, 5 extra circuits, 24 variables. Mercury. Okay, so that's why I didn't make that one. What about the second tier one? Mercury, okay. And the first one is Mercury on another planet. So that's fine. We're not going to space anytime soon at this rate. But why? Who's making these? Who's making these and why are you gating them behind Mercury? Out of all the other things you could have gated in this game, like anything in logistics pipes that gave me such early game crafting. Auto crafting, rather. So if you get your precision hammer out, you can do like an orange, cyan, and then you need to be off because we don't want to talk to trim. That's good. That's not connecting with this. But the idea here is going to be, also since I have redstone, why wouldn't I just throw down a compacting drawer? So I'm going to manually harvest one of those, and then I'm going to turn you on. So looking at the redstone, that's orange. So page 1 can be, oh, I guess this has to have a color? No. This is considered left. Looking at the open circuitry of the RedNet thing. So we want a greater than or equal. If the input on the down, we want left of orange, is greater than, I'll do 14 just to test it, but I'm sure 15 is what I want because 15 is 100% full. But just to make sure everything's, you know, working the way I want it to, I'll put it at a level of 14 out of 15. I kind of have a halfway idea of what I want to do in my head. I can see right away this is going to be tricky to walk around. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Break that. Okay, so that's not bad. So what I could do then, I'm just going to do it. I don't really want to use these. Like I suppose since I've already ran electrical conduits and item transport conduits, I could run these. I'm really on the fence. We got the transmitter, which can be, I guess, spot 1. And then we got the receiver. Oh, you know what I'm forgetting? Is these things can't pull a value out without the redstone upgrade. I'm going to forget about that. 1. There's also a chance that this has to be upgraded to forced. Love that. Couldn't have had a better outcome there. So just right click on it and then you get a forced connection. Aha. Let's try that off. See nothing. Okay. So you do need a forced connection to read the redstone upgrade. Yeah, the redstone upgrade. So now if I do 3, where are we at here? 4. Please don't tell me you're on all the time. I really don't think you're 4% or 4 out of 15 full. Ooh, this is upsetting. Why is this not working? I tested this. I swear. I swear there was a test. Okay, so any astute observer is going to realize the mistake I've made here. That's a bit of an oversight. This is outputting at least a signal of 1 into orange, right? So then it's outputting immediately from orange into here, which is interpreting as, I guess, a 15. Not exactly sure, but it doesn't even matter what this thing's doing. And this isn't even configured right. So what I need to do, I think, is get more cables. And nobody will ever see the wiring or know that it's here. Okay, so you can get... Okay, nice. That can get separated. So these are 2 different systems now, or sides rather. Am I missing something obvious, or does this not work? A redstone of 15. There's no other configurations. So if the left is higher than 1, output red to orange. I mean, the easiest answer is doing this. Okay, we are outputting 1. Oh, is this just dumb luck because the system's pumping redstone in here as I'm not paying attention? The farm's running. Empty. Okay, you're off, and you're off. Okay, so I just confused myself there. And then as soon as we jam items in, jam those in, we are at a redstone power of 1 still. So we stick a block of redstone in here. We can see that this drawer is actually pushing out a redstone power of 2. Because whatever the percentage is, it's 2 out of 15. Ignore this. This is not actually doing anything. How do I turn it off? There. The redstone is coming from the drawer. So if we were to, whoops. I don't want that to happen. No. So 2. But we do 3 and it's off. Go back to 2, it's on. Very cool. I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but I like doing this so I can get a visual that that thing's actually outputting something. And of course I forgot I needed these conduits. Is that reaching? Well, that's unfortunate. These aren't working at all how I thought they were going to work. Interesting. Okay, so these just work a lot differently to what I'm used to in 1.12. If I connect it, that actually does light up, but it doesn't have the weird interfacing thingy. I don't know if I mentioned it, but the 3 different types of capacitors that I'm growing with my capacitor seeds actually extend the radius of this farm. Right now it's only this small size because that's how much, ore I bothered to get. But the high tier octatic capacitor is this radius. So that's why the farms are this shape. As long as this area doesn't get too laggy, I plan on just taking this design and, at least making, 12 of these? Which is a crazy amount of work for what it is. Okay, so let's bump you back up to 14, and maybe by day 1000 we'll have more to look at here. One last thing, closing arguments. It's been a very long time. I'm pretty sure the reason I wanted redstone and why I went down this rabbit hole is for solar panels. I don't need solar panels anymore because of the zombie nutrient distillation fluid cows.